definition for a vampire is a corpse supposed in European folklore to leave its grave at night to drink the blood of the living by biting their necks with long pointed canine teeth.
My name is Draven. Technically, on this planet, I am 27 years old. In other planets and planes, I'm older than that. I don't know exact dates yet, but I'm old. When I was turned into what I am today, I come from a screwed up family, and I had a lot of issues over it. And when I got turned, they got worse. And as you grow older, you start seeing all these people and everything, and when you're screwed up, all you want to do is kill everybody. So that's kind of hard to fight.
So you said you got turned. Can you describe that experience and how you felt?
Yeah, it was better than any drugs you could ever do in your entire life. It was an excellent ride. It happened on a full moon in a graveyard back behind somebody's house, and I was with the chick, and she bit me. We started making out and shit. She started biting me pretty good. I was like, you know, slow down there. And she's like, shut your trap and take it. And she cut me and started drinking from me. And then she cut herself and I started drinking from her. And next morning, I'd never felt the sun hurt that bad in my entire life.
I'm Weston Hayes. I'm a practicer of the vampire lifestyle, former practicer of the vampire lifestyle. What they used to do, well, what we used to do there for like a long time was you talk to willing donors, people who were into that scene that wanted to, you know, be involved in that scene but didn't necessarily want to be a part of maybe a group. So they'd, you know, consent to letting you drink their blood. You know, it was kind of a thing where, hey man, I think you're cool. All right, you want to come party with us? And then, oh, this is what we're into. All right, cool. Well, let's come. You know, I'll give you some of my blood. Check it out. So we would take razor blades or syringes and extract some of the blood, but we always made sure that they were, you know, like we took them to the doctors and made sure that they were always tested clean. There was no STDs or, you know, blood diseases or anything like that, as far as we knew. And I know I've been to the doctor, so I don't have anything. So, but yeah, that's basically what it was. It was like consensual partying kind of thing. Like we all get together and of course we get drunk and, you know, make real Bloody Marys. And
How'd you originally get involved in the vampire subculture?
A friend turned me on. I lost my faith when I was 15 on this planet. A lot of screwed up things. I started studying different religions and their basis, and I come to the belief that they're all praying to the same one who's just a little kid with an ant farm. Except vampirism. Vampirism seemed more realistic, more believable, that they could actually be here, and, you know, everything else. So I started studying in that.
I bought into it because a friend got me convinced into it, and I was kind of into horror movies and comic books and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, how cool. A whole subculture kind of dedicated to that. I thought that was really neat.
The spiritual realm is very big. We truly believe, we were put here by God, you know, but she's a big kid with an ant farm, ask Jesus. I mean, we've been here a lot longer than everybody thinks we have. We've been here since the start of time, and we watched everything that's happened. I mean, I have memories of times that I couldn't exist. This body didn't exist back then, but I can tell you what New Orleans looked like in 1776. You know, I can smell things, I can think of things before they happen. And it comes very random, and it's almost like a deja vu. But it just happens.
Oh, you mentioned something about connecting with the spiritual world.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Like, how do you feel about that, and how it fits to your lifestyle?
It fits to my lifestyle because it's a big part of it. Unfortunately, there is another realm beyond what we can see. There are ghosts, there are spirits, there's demons, there's angels, you know, they're all there. And when you get in tune to being a vampire and you get to see out of a different pair of eyes, you see them all and you hear them all. And sometimes they won't leave you alone, and other times they will.
Well, the vampire kids, there's different varieties of them. There were ones that actually full on believed that they were vampires and that they had these weird magical powers and stuff. And then there were the ones that just saw it as a kind of like an allegory, like a lifestyle that they can live, where they do have powers to a certain degree, but no more than the average person does. It's more a tapping into the natural abilities of the human mind. It ties a lot into the fact that these old school religions are starting to come back again. People are starting to look away from all the mainstream religions and start to try to find their own way in life, trying to see what fits them the best. And as it tends to happen with teenagers, they always try and go for the thing that will piss off their parents the most. So they usually try and go for the darker, more macabre type of things to focus their life around. And that really ties into the whole vampire mythology a whole lot, especially with here in America, where we're primarily Christian, and there's a lot of parallels between the Christian faith and vampire folklore.
Right after I became a vampire, I studied the Necronomicon. And say that again? Necronomicon. Sorry, it was a book written a couple 100, 200, 300 centuries ago, probably more than that. Supposedly written on pages of human skin with their own blood. And it's the story, the study, and the spells of everything evil that is evil, titled evil. It's on how we became, it's how to control the demons, it's also how to control and bring forth fucking Satan. It's an evil, evil book. But anyway, I started studying that and started learning how to control demons. And when it comes down to it, once you get attached with vampirism, you see magic, you can smell magic, you can feel it around you. And if you learn how to control little bits and pieces of it, you're better off, because there are slayers out there. And if you don't think there are, you're being slow. You gotta realize that there's people out there that don't like us because we used to feed on you guys. You guys used to be our dinners, and we didn't care,
So do you know much about the hunters? I mean, how did they operate? Are they...
Some are physical and some are mental. There's two different types of vampires. There's blood vampires and then there's energy vampires. Energy vampires feed off people's energy. They will use the energy. They could walk down the street, suck a little bit off by just walking down the street on every house, off of every person in that house. That's how they exist. Those can be killed very simple, and just block off that part of the mind. And mental hunters know how to get into people's minds and how to work them. And then on the physical side of things, hunters, if they're serious about it, will flat out just kill you. You'll hear about a car accident, or you hear about a stabbing that there's no weapon, there's no evidence, and there's no leads in. I mean, these things happen, and some of these guys take it serious. I've known a couple hunters. I've done a battle with a couple hunters, walked away with scars, but they're not nice people.
Do you worry about any serious hunters who, for some reason or another, might target someone who is what we discuss as the fake vampires, like the Twilight kids or something like that? Would they? Do you think they're under investigation or something like that?
If a hunter calls himself a hunter, he needs to know what he's hunting. If he goes off and kills somebody who ain't, he's not a very good hunter, and they should just kill them off themselves. If you're gonna play that hunter role, if you're really gonna get serious about it, then you should know the difference by just the smell of them. But as for wannabe vampires and werewolves, there's wannabe hunters out there. There's always gonna be a wannabe, and I mean, incidents happen. Most of us, how we used to handle the hunters was we do it in almost a tournament event. A group of them would show up, a group of us. And we have kill zones where we'd end up getting cut, but if you got cut there too many times, you weren't going to bleed out and die, but you were going to walk away with some nasty looking scars. And you kind of win the rights for territories, and then the rules of the territory. You can take this amount, you need to have donors in this zone. You know, we can't come into this zone, but you can't be out here. So back in the day when the clans wars and everything started happening amongst the followers I had, I simply put it and went to the head hunter at that time, and we made a deal on the truce, and I left the scene.
So what do you think of these people, like that pretending, or these teenagers?
The pretenders really kind of pissed me off. I mean, it's to the point where it's almost like there's the crazy hobo running down the street saying that he's, you know, that he's the new messiah and all that kind of stuff, and he really hardcore believes this, and he, you know, there's not a doubt in his mind that it's not true, and you kind of can't help but think that these people are just freaking nuts. But at the same time, there's the ones that you'll meet from time to time who are really, really cool and really kind of mellow, who don't take it too seriously, but do try to adapt that mentality into their lifestyle.
I find the scene is more filled with fakes and make-believers and fucking vampires that supposedly twinkle. Fucking twinklers. They try to fill their void of loneliness with something more than what they are. And it comes out to be that half or more are fakes that just dress up and say they are because they are. They've never really drank human blood, or they don't drink enough to do what it needs to do to a vampire system. Basically make-believe people out there playing a game that some dude decided it would be fun to start doing. The people that I associate myself, others like me, we like to stay hid, because when you come out, it just blows up in your face every time. So most of the real ones won't be on the scene because it's a big game to everybody else, and we take it very seriously.
There's always going to be a matter of occult and sort of that weird, dark, macabre, you know, fringe, magic-y, sciencey type stuff involved with vampires, just because it's so tied into the folklore itself. But I doubt there's anything real going on. Like there's any I have never heard of anyone who lives the vampire lifestyle actually, you know, sacrificing anyone or getting into the weird satanic stuff. That's not really part of what it is.